There's a preview. My event is starting. It's starting. It's starting. Test 1 2. There we go. Hey everybody, how you doing? We are live as we can be. Let's see if we can skip ahead here. I'm just listening through and seeing where it's going to start. All right. So basically what I'm doing is there's a few things I need to do on this machine. I've got the Wirecast on one side, and then I've got the streamer, the encoder, going on the other side. So, and my process, this is the one thing that I'm really concerned about, is the activity monitor. And it is, CPU usage is going off the roof. So hopefully when I start recording, that doesn't mess with everything. And that's always been the problem I've had with doing a live stream and doing a record, because it's all done on this MacBook. And even though it's a pretty powerful MacBook, it's, it only can go so far. And hopefully this will go without problem with the record, because that's what makes this all possible. So let's just go over here. And of course, I'm going to have a second page, this other page up, to see if anybody actually comments as I'm talking. So, and of course, we won't have this running as we go, because that just taxes the system even more. And that's the last thing we want. Oh, no, I don't want to open that. Silly, silly, silly computer. It's going to get confused. Go away. All right. So welcome to the pre-game show, where I'm just putting everything together, making sure all the I's are crossed and the T's are dotted, and bringing you the best pre-game show that you can do. Of course, we just probably heard, well, you saw or you heard about the Xbox, where I just added that into the show notes. So I've got a pretty good line of show notes here for the podcast. So I don't know, will this comment? If anybody's on YouTube right now, if you could, is there a comment? Is there a like? I see 2 people are watching. If you want to quickly just hit the like button, and let me know, or if there's comments coming up here. Let's see if we can hit show more, show less. Can you comment? Do we have a chat on YouTube? If not, I'll have to figure out a way where you guys can chat back and forth and go from there. So I'm just gonna do this really quick and put this on plus. And then I think we should be able to get going with the show. Live now. And I'll just choose the following. All right. So I put that up on plus, and we're good to go. I don't see any place where there can be comments. So, like I said, if you want to comment, I'll watch for it, and then yeah, hopefully that'll be a place. Otherwise, I'll have to figure out a way to chat with you guys, because right now I don't have a way to chat with you guys, and probably set up a one of the wildfire chats or something like that, and go from there. So, but welcome you streamers, or I'm sorry, YouTubers. uStream. Hello, how you doing? It's a uStream. I'm on uStream. See, let's do that. Okay. So thanks for coming out to this live stream. It's gonna show's actually gonna start in a couple minutes here. As you can see, I'm working out all the bells and whistles, and this is YouTube exclusive content. So when it's all said and done, well, I'll watch it, and if it looks like I'm acting like a dork, I'll just chop off this part and put up the rest of it. So, but this is the YouTube pre-show. We're gonna get into Geek Smack in a couple minutes here, and of course, you can check me out over at Geekazine.com, my Twitter handle being Geekazine, and of course me being Geekazine. So thanks a lot for coming to the show, and looks like I think we're ready to go. So I'm gonna bring this over. You're gonna see the Geek Smack logo here, and then I'm gonna hit record, and then that's gonna start the Geek Smack show. Simple as that. So just let me do something here really quick. I don't think I need to. There we go. What the? Yeah, we'll do that. Still, well, no. I want to see the if there's any comments. So I'll leave that up, and then we'll go from there. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, geeks of all ages, excuse me, it's time to smack some geek out.
This is the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, welcome to another episode we call Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you, just like YouTube is smacking the live stream. Yes, we are on YouTube. We're doing an experiment. We're recording and we're live streaming. I'm taxing the heck out of this computer, so we'll see how it handles. And of course, we've got Geek Smack episode number 263, where we're going to talk about YouTube and changing the game. We're also going to talk about what happened. We just got done listening to the whole Xbox One live event, and so I got some thoughts on that. And we've got a lot of tech news. Today we're brought to you by our friends over at GoToMeeting by Citrix, over at Day in Tech History, and of course Roku, and then Wirecast, where all this is possible, this switching back and forth. And then live streaming on YouTube. So let's get started for this week Geekazine's Geek Smack. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, welcome to Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you. in all this tech news, in all this geek news, and everything else. So try around 30 to 40 minutes. I will take up your time and give you as much tech news as possible. So please invite me in and say, hey, let's find out what's going on in the tech world today. Let's find out what's going on in the geek world today. Well, last week they talked about YouTube and the live stream. It's something that I don't normally get into, and because of the fact that it just takes a little bit more time, a little bit more work just to get this live stream going, and it could mess with the recording, and I just never really want to play with it too much. But now that I have the ability to live stream on YouTube, we're going to give this a try, and we're going to see how I can actually add this part to the whole thing. It didn't come without problems. Right before I was getting ready to hit the record button, I guess my internet just kind of popped out and then popped back in. It never happens until that one fateful moment that you need it to happen, and boop, it's done, and then it was back in. So luckily, it was just a small little glitch or something. I don't know what was going on there, but I got it all figured out. We've got Wirecast configured to run YouTube, and so we'll see what happens there. Hey, I was also supposed to go to New York. It was actually a surprise last-minute event, but that didn't happen. I'm kind of glad it didn't happen because I could get Geek Smack off to you and then get this all set up for YouTube consumption. So we did episode number 2 of This Week in Google Glass. Yes, I got a new podcast out there called This Week in Google Glass. Go over to thisweekingoogleglass.com to find it. And, of course, you can consume it. My new co-host, Luke, he's on there, and he's helping me out. He's actually got a pair of Google Glass, and we talked about a lot of different things. We talked about Google I/O. We talked about Facebook and Twitter apps being on there, the GDK, and a lot more. So check it out over at thisweekingoogleglass.com. And of course, that's Luke Wallace, by the way. I don't think I mentioned his last name, Luke Wallace. And we had some fun. We talked some stories, 20 minutes in and out. So check that show there. All right. Well, this weekend is, of course, Memorial Day. I will have a show. If there's enough news, I'll have a show next Tuesday. So don't worry about there. Of course, I'm playing drums on Saturday and Sunday. We have an event called Bratfest, where you eat brats and you have a lot of fun. And I'll be playing at Bratfest this year on Sunday, so that should be a lot of fun. And of course, it's going to help with my 10,000 steps. I'm still on the 10,000 steps. Hopefully, I'm losing some weight or getting healthier. And that's the important thing. Of course, once this episode is done, I'm going to be out walking. If the rain doesn't happen, it's been threatening all day to rain, so we'll see what happens here. And then I've got to go get gasoline anyway because I have a half-finished yard, and the other half needs to be mown. So anyway, that's enough about me. Thanks a lot for coming to the show. If this is the first time you've come to the show, thank you very, very much. We do this every single Tuesday for Wednesday consumption or live on YouTube. So, of course, you can get everything over at Geekazine.com. You can subscribe to the show notes. You can get us on iTunes. You can get us on Zune. You can get us on Stitcher and everywhere else. All right, let's get into your Tech Smack for this week. And of course, I didn't open up one thing here, so we're just going to open this up really quick. It's brought to this first part is brought to you by our friends over at Citrix and a GoToMeeting, where of course we all need to meet, and we all need to meet at different places at different times. And of course, sometimes you don't even see the people that you meet with every day. In fact, when I meet with the people that I work with, I don't see them every single day because they don't even live here in Madison, Wisconsin. Andy McCaskey lives down in Indiana. Todd, of course, lives in Hawaii. Some of my other people live in Oklahoma, live in Texas, live in California. So we're not in the same place at the same time. We're all coworkers, but we're all on the go. And of course, clients, if we want to meet with clients, that's also around the world as well. So to work efficiently, you need to have a strong connection with your team. That's why meeting with them is so important. You build trust, and you stay focused, and you can brainstorm. And it's always cool when somebody can call me up and say, hey, what if we did this instead of doing this? And I go, that's not a bad idea. Why don't we add this to it and go from there? And they go, yeah, that's a great idea. I agree, we're done. Poof, the meeting is over. That's why we use GoToMeeting with HD Faces. It's the powerfully simple way to meet online and see each other face to face. Now with GoToMeeting, of course, by Citrix, your team is just a click away. You can share the same screen and collaborate in real time. And you just turn on your webcam to make your online meeting an HD video conference from your Mac, from your PC, from a smartphone, or from a tablet. But the best part is you can even present on that iPad you have there. And I hand off presenters. So if you need to start a meeting, poof, and you're on your go, you get it going, you got it ready. Check it out. For my listeners, for my viewers out there, check it out. All you have to do is try GoToMeeting free for 30 days. For this special offer, visit GoToMeeting.com. Click the Try It Free Now button and enter in the code PODCAST. Podcast will get you 30 days of this great software by Citrix, and it's a lifesaver. I use it all the time. Over 5 years I've used this software, and it's awesome. So anyway, check it out. Go over to GoToMeeting.com, click the Try It Free Now button, enter in the code PODCAST with GoToMeeting, where meeting is believing. All right, let's get into your tech news for today. And like I said, I'm running ragged here. And of course, the first news, the big news, just came out. Xbox first generation is now called Xbox One. I don't know. Anyway, their new game console, and this is over on Engadget. The new game console is called Xbox One. It's black and it looks pretty big, and it's supposed to be your entertainment headquarters. So you'll be able to do things on the web. You'll be able to get your media. You'll be able to play games. They're trying to cross over games with actual movies to make you feel like it's an all-encompassing thing. At least that's what I got from the keynote that happened about an hour ago, right before I started doing the stream here. So lots of things happening. The game system itself will initiate with a new version of Kinect that can read your movements a little bit better. And they showed some pictures of people doing yoga poses and moving around. And then they showed the 3D models, like when you turn your hand like this from front to back, the Kinect could actually see that and kind of make the adjustment and go from there. Of course, the gaming systems, they're going to be bringing Call of Duty in here. Of course, they're also going to be bringing Halo, which is, of course, their flagship game with Xbox, and they're going to make it even better. Entertainment, they've got TV and they've got Xbox On. Of course, all the live TV and games there, and a whole bunch more. They're still writing it all up. So, and I just caught it off while I was trying to set all this up. So check it out. I've got the link over at Engadget.com for everything here. Of course, I'll write something a little bit later on news.geekazine.com. You can check that out there as well. Speaking of news.geekazine.com, we've got the skinny on Marissa Mayer and that whole Yahoo Tumblr thing. And wow, that screen is completely off. So we'll do this. Small little mistake, but hey, that's what live and that's what record's all about. You try and get it done. You try and anyway. So the whole idea is Yahoo has bought Tumblr for $1.1 billion. Now, if you've followed me, I'm not a big fan of Yahoo. Why? Because I call them a child who's on ADHD. They get something. It's like, ooh, nice, bright, shiny thing. Ooh, I just bought it. Look, I got it. Okay, what's next? Yahoo's done that for years. They bought GeoCities that way. They bought Flickr that way. They bought hundreds of different systems. And of course, you create something, you have Yahoo come up and say, hey, I want to buy that for $100 million or $1 billion. You go, oh, okay. And they say, okay, you can stay on as CEO. Oh, okay. And then a couple of years later, it's like, well, we need to kind of integrate things and go from there. And then next thing you know, your idea is completely destroyed. And then 2 years later, they pretty much just completely close it. If you watch Day in Tech History, I talk about it all the time. So I don't know I have little faith in Yahoo to keep Tumblr separate. Marissa Mayer says, yeah, we will keep it separate. But what happens if Marissa Mayer gets fired? Then all of a sudden, the new person comes in and goes, Tumblr, we want to put that into Yahoo. We want to incorporate it. And of course, you're out. It's just a mess here. Now, here's the other thing. The WordPress Foundation, Matt Mullenweg, has said that, hey, this is interesting. Normally, we get about 400 to 600 people transferring from Tumblr over to Yahoo or WordPress.com. Today or yesterday, we had 72,000 an hour migrating their Tumblr. Now, there's like 105 blogs on Tumblr. I would say about 30% of that might be active. The rest of them might just be people, they started that blog a long time ago and they update it every 2-3 months or something like that. So 72,000, even if it's like 4 hours worth of that, that's a big chunk out of their active users that don't believe in what Yahoo can do with Tumblr. That says a lot. But Marissa Mara said, no, we're not going to touch it. We're not going to touch it. And of course, she said that that the CEO, of course, the founder of Tumblr, and the name is escaping me right now, David Karp, there we go. David Karp will remain CEO, but we'll see what happens as we go. If you want to read more on that, go over to news.geekazine.com. Let's move on from there. We're going over to PCWorld.com. Yahoo is also, we were just talking about it, Yahoo is also overhauling Flickr. They're giving everybody 1 terabyte free storage. Of course, this is, I think this is a scramble from Google last week, where they basically said, here's Picasa, here's your photos area. We'll be able to retouch it. We'll be able to add luminance. If it's too bright, we'll darken it. If it's too dark, we'll lighten it, and we'll make it look like it came from a professional camera. And Flickr's going, oh, what are we going to do? So yeah, I think they scrounged and they scrambled and they said 1 terabyte for the free storage. They revamped their front page. There's a lot of people saying, we don't like this look. We don't like this feel. And they're saying, well, we're moving on. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you have Flickr? Do you like how the changes have been made? Do you not like how the changes have been made? I know a lot of people do websites that use Flickr to host their images, and then they'll use a third-party transport like and the name of the file, Zamanta is one of them, that you basically pull from Zamanta that pulls from your Flickr. So it's kind of like a CDN that's pulling images from a different server so it doesn't tax your servers. So, but if you do that, are you going to switch it? Are you just going to get off of Flickr? Are you going to move on? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, geekazine@gmail.com is the email address. And then we have the hotline at 608-205-4378. Let's move on from there on the Geekazine Geek Smack, and of course the live YouTube. I always like saying that. Apple is skirting U.S. taxes. At least there's a panel that has been set up for corporate structures that said that they are avoiding paying billions on overseas income. And so the Senate is looking into that. And, this is not news. This lots of people knew about this. Lots of, Steve Jobs said himself, it was, I need the iPhones, I need the iPods, I need the iPads to make me serious money, and just can't do that in the United States. So we'll go over to China. We'll get somebody like Foxconn, which will pay their employees half the price, not even half the price of minimum wage, to build this stuff that has bad port conditions. And, we'll work with businesses and we'll work around different things. That's what made Apple so successful. And now with this, all this stuff, the post-Steve Jobs, the glimmer, the glitter is now washing away. And now we've got to see the hard facts on this. So Tim Cook is talking on the behalf, of course, on the financials. Of course, we might see some new laws come into play because of this, but it looks like there's a lot of questions about the tax here. So if you want to read more on this, go over to latimes.com. That's where we have it linked up. Let's move on from there. We're going over to our friends over at Giga. The folks over at PowerMat and the folks over at PowerKits were, these are device mats that you basically hook something up to your phone that always stays on the phone or your tablet or whatever, and then you set it down on one of these mats and it'll charge the phone. You don't need a plug. You just set it down and go. and a lot of people love this, but PowerMat and PowerKiss, they were talking about doing some sort of merger, but it didn't really go through. So finally, I guess they worked it all out. So now they're all going to be under the PowerMat name, because I'm guessing it because it's a more known name than PowerKiss. Actually, I don't think I've heard of PowerKiss before. So it's now going to be under PowerMat. They're going to use the what they call I believe it's the PMA standard. Yeah, the PMA standard to combine the two technologies. So you can, it doesn't matter. They'll have the patents, they'll have the technologies, so they can make better devices that will charge your devices a lot faster. So you want to read more on that, go over to gigaom.com. From there, we're going over to PC Mag, and normally this is where I show you the screen for a second, but like I said, everything's a little bit off, so I'm not going to mess with it right now. Next week, I'll get that fixed. So NVIDIA, and this is over at PC Mag, NVIDIA is showing off a 150 megabit per second smartphone. Now you're thinking to yourself, a what? 150 megabits per second. And this is over at CTIA, the wireless conference that's happening in Las Vegas right now. It's an interesting phone. It's got a Tegra 4i chipset, and it will go 10 times faster than many home cable connections out there. 10 times faster. 4G, or I'm sorry, LTE right now, my friend Alex has said it 100 times. He's got AT&T Uverse at his home, and he's basically said, I don't even know why I've got home internet anymore, because my phone goes faster than my home internet. And with this phone, this smartphone could actually do 10 times more than that. Now I've got a pretty decent connection. I use Charter and for my internet connection here, and it does a great job. It's not FiOS. I don't get 100 down, 100 up, but I get a good number, so I can actually do a stream and keep things going from there. So interesting stuff. The NVIDIA Phoenix with the Tegra 4i chip it'll be a phone that'll be faster than what you could actually do. But maybe someday. Last week we talked about Verizon beefing up their networks for 5G, which is technically might never come to fruition. It'll probably be 4G Fast or 4GS or something like that. But we'll see how this phone could actually, the network has to actually catch up to this phone. So great technology standards here that we're pushing the envelope every day. If you want to read more on this, go over to PCMag.com. Moving on from there, we're going over to VentureBeat. Pinterest has made made smarter pins. They're working on ways to monetize. So this last year I think it was that they put in some algorithm, and this is one of the reasons why I kind of stopped using Pinterest. And it is because of the fact that if I put in a link that said that had my affiliate code in there, they would wipe it out and put in their own affiliate code, especially on Amazon, or they'd wipe it out altogether if they didn't have an affiliate code. So I was not too happy with Pinterest, but now they've got a way. They say there's going to be a way that you can monetize that. So the new boards, I guess they got to get away from Google, because Google Plus looks more like Pinterest now, or at least a lot of people are saying that. And of course, we'll talk about that in a couple minutes here. But interesting stuff. If you want to read more on that, go over to venturebeat.com. Do you make money using Pinterest, especially after when Pinterest decided to knock out a lot of the people that were making lots of money on there? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine, of course, geekazine@gmail.com. All right. I guess a whole bunch of ex-Nokia team members not only left the company, but they took technology with them. I don't know if they paid for it or whatnot. And then they decided to expound on it. They made a phone, Nokia made a phone, and they called it the Jolla phone, Jolla. And what happened was Nokia said, no, we're done. We don't want to deal with that phone. We're going to focus on something else. And so this group said, no, we want to focus on this Jolla smartphone. We think that there's something here. So they left Nokia, and they took Jolla with them. Actually, it was Migo is what it was originally called, excuse me. And they created Jolla, Jolla. So the new smartphone, we'll do this for a second here. You'll be able to see the image There's the Jolla phone. Kind of looks like a Windows Nokia phone. It does have a Jolla in the back corner there. So it's got interchangeable back panels and that alter the phone's software. So I'm guessing if you put on an orange panel, you'll get an orange theme on your phone. If you get, stuff like that. It has a 4.5-inch screen and an 8-megapixel camera. Supports 4G and has a lot of Google Android apps. I don't know if you can connect to the Play Store, but interesting stuff here. Yeah, it's an Android phone. And I'm guessing it's because of the fact that Nokia decided to go with Windows phones after that. So interesting stuff. If you want to check out more on this, go over to bbc.co.uk. All right. Speaking of Google Plus earlier, Google Plus got updated. They got a whole bunch of stuff, and that doesn't do it any good, so we'll just kind of come back here. Basically, they flattened their feed. We're all about the flat now. So all the icons got flattened. Hangouts got separated from Google Plus. Photos also got separated from Google Plus. Google Plus went into a multi-column option. That way, it made it easier for desktop to mobile to ultra mobile, like a smartphone. And it worked there. Of course, so if you have a really large screen, you could do 3 columns, 2 columns, or 1 column, however you wanted to do it. They also had different types of things in photos. They introduced highlights, they introduced enhance and awesome, which are basically things that enhance a photo. So let's say, like I said, you take a picture and it's overexposed or underexposed. They use algorithms to try and figure out and make it perfect, and a perfect exposure from there. So interesting stuff. They've already shown Google Plus. There are a lot of people that are saying it's like Pinterest. It's like Pinterest. It is, but it's not. And the best part that I like about Google Plus is they'll automatically put hashtags into stuff if you don't put a hashtag in. I've always been putting hashtags. I even in Facebook, I put hashtags in, because someday Facebook will get on that bandwagon and put hashtags in there. And there's been rumors of that happening. I don't think it's happened just yet. But when it happens, my posts will have hashtags to it. And that's searchable. And I like that idea. So, like I said, some people say yes, some people say no. There's a way to actually move content around. I haven't really played with that section yet, but we'll see what happens in the long run. But if you want to read more on this, you can check it out over at Geekazine. All right, last part of part 1. We'll get you into part 2, and then, of course, we will talk about YouTube live streaming. And that is this guy created a Kickstarter. And the Kickstarter was about a skywriting. His name it's really weird. Let me see if I can do it justice. Comedian Kurt Braunohler basically wrote a Tumblr post that said he wanted a message. Basically, once he wrote the post, it would get skywritten and then done. And he went to Kickstarter to get people to pay for it. I went to the Kickstarter. It was like $6,000 or something like that. And he ended up getting, let's see. Oh no, it was, let's see the price if it's on here on the article. But basically, yeah, he asked for $6,800, or he got a total donations of $6,800, which completely surpassed his Kickstarter. And so basically in LA, he had this, and hopefully we'll see this picture. You see part of it. How do I land? And of course, it brought a lot of people going, hey, let's get the picture before, the sky writing was over. And, got him a lot of attention, got him some news article, and of course, talked about on Geekazine, Geek Smack. We smacked the geek out of that one. So, what do you think on that? Would you create a Kickstarter like that? It's kind of a promotional thing, not as much guerrilla marketing, because he really didn't say who he was. People saw it and they took a picture, but went, okay, that's what it is. That's nice. What now? So, what do you think on that? Yeah, Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, you can email me at geekazine@gmail.com, and the hotline is 608-205-4378. Checking over on the YouTube page, one thing I didn't know is if people could comment We've got a couple people watching now. Thank you very much for coming to the show and watching it over here at YouTube. We're going to talk about YouTube Livestream. Is it the game changer when it comes to live streaming? We'll find out. But first of all, we'll be right back after this. And of course, Geek Smack brought to you, second part brought to you by one of my other websites, Day in Tech History, www.dayintechhistory. Want to find out what happened today in tech history? Oh, well, let's find out. We basically go over to www.dayintechhistory. And this is not going to show you that well, is it? Yeah, it's May 21st, the Caldera SCO group becomes the SCO group on May 21st. Of course, the day before, Craigslist had that beef with South Carolina about the porn area, and of course, a certain senator was trying to sue them heavily, and so the courts basically put an injunction saying, "Hey, stop it," because Craigslist has already taken that stuff off. So, www.dayintechhistory. It's a daily podcast. It's been running for 365 days since 2009. We're on episode number one. We're almost at 1400. And by the end of the summer, we'll be at episode number 1500. So lots of cool stuff there. So check it out over at dayintechhistory.com. All right, let's move on from there. Let me find out where I was before. Let's go over to pcworld.com. Google Checkout is going to be shut down. So I've never used Google Checkout, and actually it's been around since 2006, which is really surprising that I didn't use Google Checkout at all. We knew that it merged back in December with Wallet, and so it's just technology that they probably don't need to have around anymore. So they decided, okay, well we'll just put it all together. Wallet is going to be still around, so if you're going to use something to do payments and stuff like that, you'll do Wallet. But of course, you can't do direct payments. You can't do pay to whatever. They're telling people to move over to PayPal, move over to another service, so you can use online payments to make purchases. But they just didn't see the money in it. And of course, PayPal is pretty much cornering that market right now, and it wasn't worth it for them, I guess. So if you want to read more on this, go over to pcworld.com. Moving from there, we're going to go over to the Register. AT&T said to relax their restrictions on FaceTime and video chat. A couple weeks ago, they especially once the Hangouts came out, they started saying, "Oh yeah, AT&T is going to restrict that, so you won't be able to do Hangout from your phone unless you're hooked up to Wi-Fi." Well, when that was said, the first thing I did was I pulled out my iPhone, I turned off the Wi-Fi signal, and then I checked it. And I actually used Hangouts without a problem on my iPhone. So I'm not exactly sure where they're talking about with that, but apparently AT&T has basically said, okay, well, we'll lift the restriction, so now you can do that. You should still use Wi-Fi whenever you get the opportunity when it comes to making a video call, because me on the other end has to deal with your jittering of the phone jumping up and down as you're trying to talk to me, and I'd rather you be on a stable connection than hearing. So anyway, if you want to read more on this, go over to the register.co.uk. Going from there, we're going over to zdnet.com. Whoops, a little ad popped up. Let's just close that out there. If you are a fan of the Opera browser, Opera has taken the beta off of Android, and they're putting it together. Of course, Opera, a pretty decent browser. I've enjoyed it. Out of all the browsers, I still use Chrome for my iPhone, for my iPad, and for my computers because of so many different reasons. The integration features, just a whole ton of stuff. Security, just the pass through that I can do from there. But if I had to make a second choice right now, Opera would be it. And if I had an Android phone, maybe, I don't know, maybe Chrome doesn't work that well on an Android phone, which would be kind of weird, but it, maybe it doesn't. So then I'd go with Opera. They've got some great features in there, and they're now using a thing called TextFlow, which it's interesting how it works, but I'll let you read everything on it over at zdnet.com. Of course, the show notes, links will be in the show notes, so you can get there from there. So, but do you use an alternate browser on your smartphone or your tablet? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. All right, moving on, we're going to go over to freep.com, freep.com. Rapper Eminem is suing Facebook. It's still not happening there. So Eminem is suing Facebook. Apparently, there were some songs that happened on Facebook that they used, and they said that they didn't have the proper permissions to use them. There was a 12-page complaint filed on Monday in Detroit federal court that says that Facebook ad was broadcast on April 4th, and they used Eminem's 2000 song "Under the Influence," and another 30-second ad dubbed "Airplane" was featured in a webcast by Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg to announce Facebook Home. So they're looking for, I guess they're looking for money on that. So pretty interesting stuff if you want to check that out. freep.com. Moving on from there, let's go over to PC Mag. I think there are 3 more articles here. Samsung is offering $800,000 for a Galaxy S4 Apps Challenge. So basically, they announced it on Monday. You make apps for the Samsung Galaxy S4, and you submit them, and you're not going to get $800,000. You'll get a piece of $800,000. That's usually how that works. But the better apps will get more money, and so you could literally make $10,000 with a good app. So, and that $20,000, that's your that's some people's 1 year salary. So a lot of things you could do with $20,000, right? I'm not that much of a programmer to actually be able to do that, but it's a good challenge. So check it out. Go over to PCMag.com for that. Staying on PC Mag, Google Voice support is coming to Hangouts soon. I guess with Hangouts, you could only have incoming calls. So now they're working on a standalone version of Hangouts that can combine text, photos, and live video from Android, iOS, and the PC. So you'll be able to, I think you'll be able to call out. You'll have a call-in number, maybe, and you'll have a lot more. Of course, with Hangouts, there is a call-in number, and you just say, hey, call this number, and go from there. I don't know how that regulates because I've never really used the call-in number, but it would be nice if I could attach my Google Voice to something like this and say, hey, call me at 608-205-4378 and be on the show with me right now. So we'll see how this works, how this plays out. But if you want to read more on that, go over to pcmag.org. All right, last part of part 2, and then we'll get you on your on the main subject here. And that is a robot that got built at Maker Faire using the Arduino system, processor system. It's called the Arduino on wheels. They call it the robot, and they made it at Maker Faire. It's a video over here. We'll show you a touch of that because once again the screen's a little bit off, but you can check out the video. It's a YouTube video that you can check out. They also debuted the Yoon this past weekend. So if you are a Maker Faire fan, then you can check that all out from there. All right, that does it for the second half of Geek Smack. We're going to get you into the main subject here. YouTube streaming. Does it change the game when it comes to streaming? We're going to talk about that, and we will do that right after this. With over 700 channels to choose from, the Roku should be part of your entertainment center, and the price is great. You got channels from Amazon to Netflix, Hulu Plus, and of course you can add to your pay channels like HBO Go. You also have Disney for the kids. You have tons of ways to entertain people. Not only movies, but you can also have great games, such as Pac-Man, such as Galaga, and of course, Angry Birds.
And that's all through the Roku Entertainment System. Now let me show you one channel that's in particular near and dear to my heart, and that's over here, the techpodcast.com channel. If you go to the techpodcast.com channel, you go into the video and you go to tech news, you will find not only iPad 365, but Geekazine social media feed, and then of course the show Geek Smack, all on your Roku right there. So check it out. Prices start at $50 to no more than $100 for all this great entertainment. Do that by going over to geekazine.com/Roku. That's geekazine.com/Roku to get yourself a Roku player and start watching movies, start watching content, and start playing Angry Birds over at geekazine.com/Roku.
All right. As you can see, or maybe you can't, maybe I'm offline already, I am trying YouTube streaming. It's a feature that people will get once they hit 1,000 subscribers and have what they call good standing approval on YouTube and agree to all the terms and become part of the YouTube fold. I used to stream my podcasts back in the day on uStream because it was a little bit easier to do. But since then, trying to consolidate and capture and everything like that, it's gotten kind of tough for me. But with YouTube now, with my YouTube, I actually worked on getting people to my YouTube, and I've got over 2,000 subscribers. And I thank you guys very much for being part of my YouTube channel. And you can always subscribe over at youtube.com/Geekazine. I opted into the partner program when I was asked to. I made sure that all my videos were in good standing. Yeah, I did have issues on one or another, and I got them all worked out. But normally, like I said, I don't stream because it's an option that could actually cause failure. And I'd rather record it and have it done so I can push it out to you guys and you get it an hour or two later. However, I do see this enticement of record once, monetize forever. Just set it and forget it type stuff. If you need to make edits, well, maybe YouTube will have a process to do that. They kind of do right now. And they'll get better within the months. I bet you'll be able to cut and snip within the next 6 months on your videos and take out, I shouldn't have said that in that part. I'll go to 20 minutes, 13 seconds and edit that part out. Therefore, I think that, something like Geek Smack could actually become a YouTube system and reinitialize the whole thing. It makes me wonder how live streaming will change. It's not like we haven't been able to do that already. uStream, Livestream, Justin TV, all major players in live streaming. They've been around since 2007. Only problem for these three is they need to have a solid pay model to cover their costs. So they inserted ads. They inserted ads without direction of the streamer. And the only way that the streamer could get rid of those ads is to pay a really outrageous monthly fee or try and make their own ads and go that route. But once again, they'd have to deal with other people's ads. A lot has also changed since 2007. Now, codecs have gotten better. They've been built more stable. Bandwidth is greater at home. Your mobile device has better bandwidth. You'll be able to get it at 4G speeds. And you'll be able to watch your content wherever you go. Basically, we watch on our computers, our mobile devices, or wherever we are. Now, with YouTube getting into the game, I can really make a uStream, Justin TV, or Livestream reevaluate their models. After all, they don't have the #1 video search engine behind their systems. They also don't have the power of an $800 a share giant like Google powering them. There can be lots of downfalls to YouTube live streaming. Congestion is a big concern. If your video freezes, you can't do much to fix it. My biggest concern is if I overtax my recording streaming machine, then all of a sudden the whole thing falls apart. And I have to start from the beginning because the recording just completely fell apart as opposed to one or the other. If it does, I might have to, like I said, I might have to record it all over again. and then try and figure out how to do this all at once. We're going towards more video on demand models for entertainment. Xbox just talked about that in their live stream an hour and a half ago. YouTube gets it. They want to have that live stream. They want to have that interaction back and forth. TBS TNT gets it when they put their live streaming onto the internet. Of course, HBO gets it, and they really want you to get it without having to have a cable connection. So it's now a question if they can all sustain it. Otherwise, we might see YouTube YouTube Live just basically getting closed down like Google Checkout is right now. What do you think on this? Check it all out. Go Geekazine is my Twitter handle. Do you think that YouTube live streaming is it going to change the game? You know, is it going to compete with Hangouts? Now that's another factor right there. Is you have a Hangout and you have a live stream. Why aren't they just kind of merged together? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, geekazine@gmail.com is the email address. And then 608-205-4378 is the phone number. 608-205-4378. All right, that does it for this episode of Geek Smack. Of course, I'm watching my CPU is just kind of frying right now. It's going, please stop. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for watching live on the uStream, YouTube live stream. I keep saying uStream. I'm YouTube live stream. YouTube live stream. Thanks a lot for watching on the YouTube live stream. We had a couple people there the whole show, so thank you very much for watching. My name is Jeffrey Powers, and I will be back next week. You guys have a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend if you celebrate. And just kind of relax, kick back, and enjoy. If you're in Madison, Wisconsin, come out to Bratfest Sunday morning, 11:30 a.m., and watch my band play. Simple as that. So you guys take care, geek out, and we'll see you next time. And, of course, that's the show. Thank you guys very much for this test on YouTube. Of course, we'll keep this in its entirety, mistakes and all, into the whole thing. And thanks a lot for watching. We will be back next week. If everything worked out pretty well, we will try the stream again. I might even try streaming from a different system to see if that works a little bit better. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Jeffrey Powers, Geek out.